What's up, you fools? Matt is United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and we are live. Welcome to Mattitude, the Eurovision live stream where we talk about the news of the week, of course, and then answer your question. Let's have a dialogue about the best thing in the world, and you know what it is. A lot has happened tonight. I don't even know where to begin. We had Melodifestivalen, Semi-1. We had Norway, the fourth semi-final, and then a bunch of other shows, Moldova and Lithuania, and a bunch of news, yada, yada, yada. So I'm waiting for everyone to arrive as I am chatting away, and everyone, of course, in the chat, make sure that the sound is okay. I've been using a new software, and I think I figured it out at last, but in case there are any hiccups, like an echo, or it cuts out because I'm going to a different screen, let me know. But yes, we have so much to talk about. And I know the two shows that took place today were Melodifestivalen in Sweden. I'm going to talk about that first because it just ended. And then we'll talk about Norway. And then after that, we'll talk about the regular Eurovision stuff. How does that sound? As always, I will talk through it first, and then I'll bring in your comments as well. Make sure to always put at ESC United so I can see them. I pull them out as much as possible as I can see, and then we'll go from there. So let's get this thing started. I am pretty sure that most of you at least watched this thing called Melodifestivalen. Here are your 7 candidates that took part in today's show. And the Mamas opened it, and Felix Sandman closed the show. Out of these 7 acts, 2 qualified directly for the grand final, 2 moved on to the second chance round. That means they get to perform again and have basically a 50-50 shot of making it to the grand final. And then 3 songs just have been eliminated. So let's talk this through one after another. Let's go for of course, qualifiers first, directly qualifiers. And first of all, actually, before I go into that, I want to say that the show was pretty darn good. I enjoyed it tremendously. But I usually expect that from Melodifestivalen. And I'm not sure if you watched my clips. I did a reaction video to the snippets a few days ago. My ranking, as expected, has changed a little bit from what I came up with at that point. And I see people are saying the sound is great. Yay. So it has changed a little bit, but for the most part, I am very, very, very happy. And I think it almost matches my ranking. Almost, not quite. So let's talk about the first qualifier of the night. And everyone again in the chat at ESC United, if you have thoughts about that song, if you're surprised, sad, happy, anything like that. We're going through all 7 of them, so don't jump ahead. The first one, obviously, is Robin Bengtsson, Take a Chance. And in my initial ranking, I put Robin in second place based on the short snippet. After tonight's performance, my number 1. Absolutely my number 1. He definitely won me over. And as I pointed out, I was not crazy. Actually, that's the understatement. I didn't like I Can't Go On, his entry from 2017. It was just too much for me. But I did like consolation prize that he didn't win Melodifestivalen. And this one probably is my favorite Robin Bengtsson entry. It has a lot of elements that feel retro, like almost like, again, an ABBA vibe, or early 90s, as I pointed out. Nick Kamen, I Promised Myself. Overall, a very typical Swedish production, but it just works for me. It's melodically very pleasant on my ears. I will say, I'm not sure if you noticed it, Robin Bengtsson during his performance was super nervous. I felt as he was a little uptight and not quite there, but after he won and he performed, he was great, actually. So it's not surprised. I guess, I would have stage fright too. But you would think after doing Melodifestivalen on so many different occasions, actually going to Eurovision, he would be a little more loose. But hey, I get it. And he let go after that one. So I was a little nervous because a lot of people said, well, this is going to be a second chance Andra song. And I'm like, no, it has to go through. And the fact that it did, I am actually over the moon. And so it is his 3rd time that he took part in Melodifestivalen, and the 3rd time that he directly qualifies for the grand final. I mean, come on, that is pretty impressive. I'm not saying he's going to win because I don't know what's out there, competition-wise, but I am very much focused on this one because that one I just love that song. I don't know. It's get better. The more I listen to it, like after the reprise, I was like, oh, it's getting better and better. So I really, really like it. I really, really like it. And someone in the chat, Collins, says, Robin Bengtsson was amazing tonight, but I prefer Constellation Prize. Initially, after the first round, I would have said the same thing. I think I'd preferred Constellation Prize. But now, the more I listen to it, I think Take a Chance is now passing Constellation Prize a little bit. But I get why you would like that one better. I completely see that as well. So, but this is, to some people, a surprise qualifier. I was surprised that he was put in third in the running order, which is not necessarily always the most desired one. Which is interesting because the first and the third song of the night went through, which shows in Melodifestivalen the running order may not be as significant. I mean, we're talking 7 songs. So this is definitely a very happy surprise for me, and I wish him nothing but the best, Robin Bengtsson. As much as I criticized the other song in 2017, I always feel bad when you like pick on a song a lot because you don't like it. Now I can like support him. So, and he sounded really good. The other, then we had to go through this thing at the show where the 4 remaining songs were eliminated one after another. First, they announced the 2 songs that will go to the second chance round, and then the song that will be eliminated, as well as the song that will directly qualify, will then be the last 2 standing. And I was actually really nervous because the last 2 songs standing were the other 2 that I had a top 3 actually. And knowing that one of them would go through, one of them would go home, kind of made me sad. That being said, the Mamas also went through directly, and they were my number 1. With the snippet show, they did drop to number 2, just because Robin Bengtsson really just wowed me tonight. But the Mamas, nevertheless, a really good song, a lot of energy, and I liked so many things about it, but I do have a few criticisms about that as well. As hyped I was about the song, I didn't feel as the song didn't kick off right away. It took a little bit longer for to really get into it. Like once they grabbed the microphones and started walking, that to me when the song became alive. I feel as if they win Melodifestivalen and go to Eurovision, they need to fix. I mean, they're not going to have backtrack singing anymore, so they will need to rely on live vocals. But I feel as that needs to change because the backtrack was too loud. These ladies can sing. They have fantastic voices. They kind of made last year's song Too Late for Love to me. They were so good. And here I almost felt they were muted. I felt as their gospel-y, the great harmonies, and that was missing a little. And that is why I was maybe dropping it a little in my ranking. But nevertheless, I completely acknowledge this is a fun factor and completely deserved to qualify in my view. So overall, those 2 were my top 2, and you can see it in my video. I did that before the results came in. So my top 2 went through, and I could not be happier. That hardly ever happens. So we are off to a good start according to my personal taste in Melodifestivalen. And Jade Funky Coffin is also making a good point that I meant to bring up. The Mamas need to bring up their clothing. That is true too. I'm getting a little bit, again, going back to 19. I'm still living the past. 2019. They also were mostly black and it was really dark. That was my biggest concern with the staging. It's a similar vibe here as well. It's a little dark. Even though if they were black, maybe accentuated with a little bit more something colorful, because the song is very uplifting and bright. And I feel as maybe that should be reflected in the wardrobe as well. So I agree with that comment there for sure. So some people, honestly, I want a female for Sweden. Astrid, it would be nice actually to have a female singer again for Sweden. I know that the last female singer we had was in 2014, Sanna Nielsen. So yeah, weird, huh? Some countries always send women. And Sweden, for some reason, as of late, only sends guys. But it's just how it goes, right? The juries and the televoters usually put them at the top. So maybe they just had this run where they just had the more popular songs. That's how it goes. I don't think Sweden just picks guys because they're men or anything like that. It just kind of played out that way. So those were the 2 Direct qualifiers. Let's talk about the second chance round real quick, because two songs still are in the running, could win even the whole Melodifestivalen. It happened before, only once, in 2013, when the second chance song actually ended up winning the whole Melodifestivalen. One of the songs, and that was the biggest jaw dropper, not really, but kind of yes, Felix Sandman, Boys with Emotions. So I got a lot of slack. In my video that I did a few days ago, my first reaction when I put Felix basically second to last in my ranking, because it is absolutely not my kind of song. And even watching it, I just couldn't get into it. Once again, Boys with Emotions. I'm talking but not singing. Here is the backdrop that looks like 2017 Benjamin Ingrosso. You know what I mean? It has these elements that has Benjamin Ingrosso in it, but then I get those special effects that we had last year in Germany with Ellie Ryan, and then I get a Justin Timberlake vibe. A melody was missing here, and the entire song kind of just went that way. It is very much catered to a specific group of people who like that kind of music, but I don't think that the overall appeal was there. But it was hyped. It won the family show, which often is visited by younger folks, so maybe I shouldn't be surprised. But I couldn't get it, and I got a lot of slack for not liking it. And I wouldn't say I feel vindicated, because I don't wish anyone a bad result. If people would have loved the song and it would have directly qualified, so be it. I just wouldn't have been a fan of it. So I was okay with the second chance one, because it is very popular and it was slick. It looked amazing, right? I mean, visually, I was like, whoa. But it also lacked originality, in my view. Actually, the best part of the song to me were actually the lyrics. That part I kind of enjoyed. It was a little bit more fun to listen to. I only listened to it now once. I need to listen to the whole thing. That was quite interesting. But overall, I just didn't get it. And it was probably overhyped. Felix was the number one, if I'm not mistaken, in the betting odds. Clearly, that's going to drop now. Yeah. I was relieved, in my view, and I feel bad for saying that, because, nothing against Felix. It's all about the song. And then the other song that was a second chance candidate, I'm happy that she made it, is Malu Preet's Ballerina. She went a very different route this time around. Last year, she had that High School Musical pop, young pop. This time, she went a little bit more mature. She went for what I always heard when I always saw Sia. I always see her style, a little bit of Rihanna even, but mostly Sia, what I heard. So a different style. The song was not bad. The song was actually really good. I would have been fine with the direct qualification as well, but I will say this. She was not good vocally. I'm not sure if the song is too big for her, like she doesn't have the pipes to really deliver the chorus, but she was off, she was pitchy. So maybe now she's getting a second chance, fix that, and then rightfully go to the finals, because the song was pretty darn good. I did like it, and I like the vibe of the song, and I like that she went with something different as well. So she deserves a second chance, absolutely. Second chance is very fair for her, because it wasn't perfect, her performance, but the song was really good. The song's really good, so if both comes together, I think she has a really good shot at qualifying for the grand final. So fingers and toes crossed for her. I'm very, very happy. Jade Funky is also saying they hyped the song so much in the intro. Jade, I assume you're referring also to Felix's song, which, yes, there was a big hype around it, and often that happens, right? And we're going to talk about Spain in just a moment as well. I think that has kind of hurt Spain as well, that there was a big hype and people didn't get it. Sometimes it's probably even better to have lower expectations than getting too excited about it. That would be at least mine. Will you soon react to the Semi 2 at Melodifestivalen? Well, the songs aren't out yet. I have to wait for the snippets to come out. They usually come out Wednesday or Thursday. I forgot. So whenever they come out, I will do that. Yes. VR is actually saying, I was shocked that Malu went to the second chance and not straight to the final. Yes, I can see why. So I wasn't surprised. I was kind of thinking she would be like, I knew that the top four would battle it out, like the way we had it right now. I just didn't know in what order. So I just thought that Malu would be third or fourth, would have been my guess as well. In my personal ranking, she was in fourth place at that point, and I think that's still where she is at after tonight. So my ranking hasn't changed a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Maybe a slight different change. At the top, my top two changed from first to second and second to first. And but let me talk about one thing. Olivia, before I actually say, Olivia says the Melfest odds are currently Hannah Firm. She's obviously really high because she's got the prime spot, last in running order in semi-4 that's usually reserved for the producer's favorites, so that makes sense. Felix and Paul Ray. Felix has just gone up in the odds. Up! You never know. You never know. But it's also just temporary. I'm sure people put money down after the performance. Now that the results came in, it's probably going to drop. That would be my guess. And, the song that I really fell in love with, I liked it before, but I fell even more in love with it tonight, is the song that just missed out, Sonja Alden's very much 1990s Swedish ballad. It sounds like the song from Sweden 1998. Check it out. But I loved it so much. It was, and here's why, it felt out of all the songs in the running, yes, outdated, but it was also the most genuine song. I just felt like, I needed this very calm, just little song that just doesn't always have to just like, whoa, what? You just listen to it, and it was so pleasant. And it is not a Melodifestivalen winner, and I said that it will be very difficult for her to actually make it to the second chance run. I was secretly hoping it would be enough, but it wasn't. Like, I probably would have put her over Felix in it, but that's my personal taste. So I'm glad at least she made it to the second round. And Sonja Alden, what a fantastic artist. I love her, and I love the song. It was my third place after the snippet, and it stays in my third place, actually. And apparently I'm no longer the only person feeling that way, which makes me happy. We need sometimes a break from this, who has the most modern current song and da-da-da-da. Just a simple song sometimes can touch you, and it did touch me a lot. Lily Loss agreed, I liked Sonja's song. I could see Celine sing it in the mid-90s easily. Yes, Lily, I agree. It's so 90s, that song. Check out some of the Swedish songs from Eurovision in the 90s, particularly 1998. It has the same vibe. So, yeah, I agree with that, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one. Shannon is saying, as much as I loved Malou, I think the stage felt a bit empty at times. Yeah, the stage was pretty empty, but I think what they need to fix is less even the empty stage, is fix the camera angle, because you can have an empty stage and still fill it up with the right camera angle and shots and all of that stuff, and I think that was not at its best. They did too many zoom out far shots, and that made it look very empty. I do like the idea of the staging, though, so I'm not going to lie. So, those were the 4 songs that went through. As said, Sonja Alden did not go through. She finished in 5th place. I'm sad, but I'm glad she made it to the second round. Real quick about the 2 non-qualifiers. Susie P moves, and Inga problem. I would agree with that. Those 2 definitely left very little impact on me. And Susie P's song, she's an up-and-coming singer. Her song was pretty good. Her staging wasn't bad either. But her vocally also, she needs to work on that, because that, maybe her nerves, maybe, I don't know. But it certainly did not impress me tonight. And Ove song, just, I don't get it. I don't get that kind of music. I don't even get the whole staging was fine, but the one guy, was he wearing a bulletproof vest, like that little thing there? I'm like, why? This makes me nervous. Is something about to happen? So I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. It was grating on my ears, but I'm glad. I don't want to poo-poo on it too much, because I appreciate diversity. I appreciate different genres, and even though it's not mine and clearly not the majority's, I'm glad we had something different. So, any questions or thoughts, comments you have on Melodifestivalen, please do so by sending me a message at ESC United so that I can see it pop up on my screen. Usually the first semi often doesn't have the winner. It doesn't happen a whole lot that the winner comes from the first semi-final, the whole Melodifestivalen. There are exceptions, of course. The most prominent one, obviously, Lorraine, Euphoria, although no one saw that coming initially. The producers didn't think that she would be that big of a hit. And then she just, became one of the most memorable songs in Eurovision history, certainly, of the recent past. So, we gotta wait and see. There's plenty of competition still to come, 3 more semifinals. But this is really, really exciting to me. I just love the Eurovision season. I'm glad it's finally kicking off, and there's so much. The next few weeks going to be horrible, but horrible I mean awesome, because there's so much to talk about. So let's see. There are a few questions. HCB asks thoughts on stage, the Melodifestivalen stage. You know what? I'm going to give it a compliment only because it didn't stand out to me. And I mean that as a compliment. I don't think it was distracting at all. Sometimes last year's stage I wasn't a big fan of. It felt kind of cramped and tiny to me. This one felt pretty open. And it felt like you could do really good effects with it. I liked it because it didn't even register with me. So I call that a good thing, because the stage should only be more of a tool for them to put together the stage. It should not distract from the actual performance. And that is exactly what it did for me. So that is definitely a big plus on my end. So yeah, overall, as I said, we have to wait for the next week, see what Semi 2 has in store. I do have the list up. Next week, we're going to have... let's see, Anna Bergendahl is probably going to be a favorite, going last with Kingdom Come, always a fan favorite. She won in 2010, then didn't qualify from the semis, but we're not going to talk about that. And then she also went to second chance last round, and then actually ultimately to the finals as well. Some other names to mention are Paul Ray apparently is high up in the betting odds, even though I don't know him. Linda Bengtsson is Melodifestivalen queen. She is the queen of Swedish Schlager. I'm happy that she's coming back. Mendes, Vamos Amigas, he was like a couple of years ago robbed, even though I didn't like the song. Every day, every night, I don't know the words. It was a terrible song. The juries put it dead last. The televoters put it in third place, and he still finished up last overall. That just showed how flawed the voting system was. You cannot finish third with the televoters and still finish last overall. That's just not right. So as much as I didn't like that song, Daughter was really hyped last year and flopped, and people were like, yeah, it wasn't good enough, but they want to give her another shot, and she is coming back. So that is really exciting as well. So I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see here. There are a couple more questions. Matt, have you heard the Danish song? Okay, that's about Danish. Not yet, so don't spoil it for me. I gotta do a reaction video. Imagine if Felix would have won the semi, but the age group split the results so that the Mamas and Robin won the semi. Not my opinion, just imagining. ESC Zebe asked that question, and it kind of happened last year. I forgot her name right now. Leena Hedlund. She's also hosting this year, one of the hosts. She actually only finished total votes in third place, but actually finished second overall because her song did not appeal to the youngsters as much, and they overwhelmingly vote in Melodifestivalen because we have a lot of app voting. So that is why they introduced the age voting, because it seems a little bit unbalanced if the vast majority of the votes of power comes from people of a certain age. So by certain age, I usually refer to someone older, but the people that are under 18 usually. So that happened before, and it may have it's very possible actually that Felix finished in second place over, let's say, the Mamas in total votes, but they just Felix got so many votes from the young people, but not from the more like 30 and up, and that can have a big impact. Keep that in mind. I like that voting system because when you have app voting, you do a disservice to fair voting, for the lack of a better. Yeah, you can say, oh, people can vote at apps as well, but people just don't because they're not used to that kind of stuff. They're used to picking up the phone. And it's a generational thing. When you guys are older, when you're 60 and 70, like people in their 20s will do things very different. And you're like, this is stupid. So that's going to happen. It's just very natural. So it's very, very interesting. So let's see if we have any other questions in regards to Sweden. There are a few other questions on other topics, and I will have an open Q&A question session at the very end, so don't just leave. I will answer them, so just keep them up on topic right now. Is there a possibility to watch Melfest with English subtitles, Marinus is saying? I don't know. I don't think so. Because it's all done by SVT, and I don't know if they're going to go out of their way to do English subtitles, but that would be cool. But there may be something out there, but I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, again, let's move on to the next topic. We talked about Sweden Melodifestivalen. I am happy, again, my ranking from 3 days ago from the snippets has hardly changed, just my top 2 flipped around, and then I would actually move up Felix 1 position after tonight. He was behind Susie P. After tonight, I would put him at least in 5th place, which is something. Still a non-qualifier for me, but he was better than... The staging, it was good enough for me to enjoy the 3 minutes that I watched it. Okay, one more question. Arnold Abadi is asking, what are your thoughts about Marietta coming back? Any help for her performance and song? I stopped having expectations because Mariette, I liked her. With Mariette, she's great. I love her personality. I love everything about her. And I like all of her songs. I just haven't loved any of her songs yet. They're always good. But I never feel them. They are great. And maybe this time around, it's going to be that way. So I'm not trying to have any expectations because I always get disappointed. So let's move on to another show that just came to an end, and that is Norway Melodi Grand Prix. Melodi Grand Prix Semi-Final 4. I had to think there for a second. But we had, again, 4 songs battling it out, and out of those 4 songs, only one qualified. And let's talk about this. So I'm bringing up the list right now because I never can remember all of the names because, there are 500 shows I have to watch. But this was the 4th semifinal, as I pointed out. And this was the Western Norway region that took place here. So each semi is coming from a different area. The artist from a different region. This time it was the Western region of Norway. And the 4 acts were, in the first duel, that was last week. Hege, Björk, and Penguin the second, actually. So let me fix that here real quick. First group was Magnus Bokn, Over the Sea, and Oda Loves You, Love Who We Love. And then the second battle was Hege, Björk, Pang, and the Nordic tenors in this special place. So let's go for the 2 duels one by one. And then I would love to hear from you because there were a bunch of surprises for me. So let's talk this through. So the first semi was between Magnus and Oda Loves You. Once again, I do have a reaction video out there for the when I listened to all the 4 songs previously, and I put Magnus and Oda Loves You as my top 2. Magnus is number 1, Oda Loves You as number 2. So when they ended up in the same semi, I was like, darn it. So that made me really nervous because then Hege, Björk, and the Nordic tenors were my 3rd and 4th. They were in the other semi. Clearly, one of them would have been eliminated in the first round. At the same time, I always was kind of like, okay, it is what it is. In the end, only one song is going to go through anyway. If it would have been like one song from each duel, that would be frustrating. But knowing that even if Oda Loves You and Magnus had been in the different semis and both would have qualified, one of them would have been eliminated anyway. So it was less annoying to me. It was still just kind of like, ugh, it sucks. It still sucks. So Magnus Bokn took the stage first with Over the Sea, written by Alexander Rybak, or co-written, as well, him. And then Joachim with Stain, and he was part of Joost from 2017, so a 2 Eurovision veteran wrote that song. I didn't know until after listening to the song for the first time that they actually wrote it, and it makes sense now that we have the violin in there. But honestly, that song was so uplifting and so fun. Similar to what I said about Robin Bengtsson, I feel as Magnus was super nervous and vocally a little off in his first round, but when he performed the second time, he was way better and perfect to me. There are a few things, I don't know why they decide for like the national final to bring a child on stage, knowing if they were to win, they cannot use her because she's too young. You have to be at least 16 years old to be on the stage at Eurovision. She clearly is not 16. So she will not be part of the act should he win in a few weeks. But other than that, it was a fun performance. The dances were fun. Although, again, since they are allowed to have backtracks, if they win MGP, they will have to then have dancers who can also sing. Because, the backup vocalists are also then the dancers, I guess. I don't know. So that always kind of bothers me when you have the backtrack stuff, because you can have just a completely different staging there. But I thought it was just very uplifting and a fun experience. It just got to your heart when the key change kicks in. Yes, key change can be a little cliche. I get that. They're cliche. But it just got elevated to a point. I was like, oh my God, yes. There's so much sadness going on right now in, not my life, in everyone's life. So much pressure going on that I just need that kind of music to make me happy. And it absolutely made me happy. So then, as I pointed out, he had then to battle Oda Loves You. Oda Loves You, Love Who We Love. I put that in my second place initially, and I did criticize it, saying it's too repetitive. We love who we love, who love, love, we love, yes, love, 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 who love. And I was like, okay, we get a little bit more there, but it's just darn catchy as well. So darn catchy, and it was energetic. I'm really gravitating to the energetic songs this year. Usually I'm like always known as the ballad lover, but this time, not so much. I say Oda Love was still a fun song. I don't know if I agree with the staging. I didn't agree with the staging. I don't know why they thought they had to go with the cabaret theme, which doesn't really make any sense. I needed a little bit more energy in the staging, and there needed to be a lot of dancing going on. That's at some point, right? But not halfway through the song. And I was like, okay, you have all the acrobats doing their Cirque du Soleil stuff, but it just made no sense to me. I will say it's wonderful to see all these very elaborate staging already in the semifinals. That makes it fun. It's very professional. I just think they missed the mark with the staging because it just didn't suit the song. Am I the only one? I would love to hear from you as well. So I was still not worried. I wouldn't have been devastated if Oda Loves You would have won that semi, but I must say Magnus was my clear favorite. So I was rooting for him over her. Again, I would have loved for her to be in the other group, in the other duel, to make it to the super final, but that's not how it ended up, unfortunately. So this, to me, was a good outcome. I was relieved. So I assume there may be properly divided opinions on that one. As I see, Laila Grado said, I loved Oda over Magnus, and I get it. I get that. This comes down to personal taste. I thought both songs were good and solid. I just connected more with Magnus, and I'm sure a lot of people connected with the other one more. I still say these were the two strongest songs. Jade Funky Coffin is saying, at this point last year we had better songs. Do you mean Melodi Grand Prix? Or in general? Melodi Grand Prix to me was only okay. I loved the winner. Obviously, Kylo was my clear favorite. That was the only song I was truly rooting for. I like a good amount of songs already here. And we'll talk about that. So I'm okay. I like the songs. And Lily Luss agrees, saying, We Love Who We Love came off like it was trying too hard. Yes, Lily, I completely agree with that as well. It felt a little much. And that is, I still love the catchiness, but I do think Magnus had a little bit more character to the song. And that is why I was thrilled it went to the next round. In the other group, we had the Nordic tenors in this special place. And Hege Björk Pang with the most memorable outfit of the year when she looked like a flippin' star or whatever that was. That was very interesting. And I don't know about you, but everyone on our forum on ESC United, we chatted, and everyone agreed, it's going to be Hege that's going to go through. So when they announced that the tenors won, I was like, huh? People just really didn't like Pang. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't crazy about either of those two songs, but between those, I thought Pang was definitely superior, at least was something more interesting. The tenors, as I pointed out, bless their hearts, wonderful singers and probably very nice gentlemen. But the song was like, oh my God, so draggy and so corny. And like, who wrote this? Who wrote this for like a 1990s, early 1990s Disney theme song that the prince sings to his princess? And I was just like, oh my God, I can't get into it. And the second time they performed, I actually muted it because I had to go back to Melodifestivalen. Usually I pause it, but in this case I muted it because I didn't want to listen to it again. So I was like, oh my God, it qualified. It qualified. How? It was unbelievable to me. But then I felt bad. I'm curious to hear from you guys and gals about, were you surprised that the tenors went through? Or was it like, no one got that song Pang? It was too shouty to me in the end, it was like, but at least it had a little bit more to it where I was interested in. So, someone saying she had more stage presence, I will agree that as well. Nordic tennis, who's your favorite princess? Jasmine, Ariel, or Mulan, right? Thank you for getting it. I completely agree. Caroline Olsen also agrees. How did the Nordic tenor go through? I am so confused. It seems as the chat was definitely, people in the chat definitely see more eye to eye with me, which is nice. I'm so surprised because I thought I'm going to get a lot of slack for not going crazy over Felix Sandman's song and then poo-pooing, and some others, but I'm glad that people align with me. Lily Law saying the Nordic tenors were like dad from a local music theater troupe. An embarrassment. Lily loves. I agree with that as well. And nothing against some dad singing, because, the Eurovision stage is for everyone, but it just seemed so odd. They didn't have a lot of stage presence either. So, yeah, I just didn't get it. And Carolyn Olsen brings up another valid point that I brought up in my last video as well. In my reaction video, I think that they felt and wanted to be the new Il Volo, and they said something about them in the close-up interview. Because I thought so too when I saw, the Nordic tenors, and it's going to be like a very pop opera kind of song. But then Il Volo song obviously was amazing because they showcased their vocals, like, right, big tenor, but they're just like this washed down version. It just didn't ever go anywhere. It was so anticlimactic, and I didn't get it either. So no, that didn't work at all, unfortunately, for me. And HCB makes a point that I was thinking as well. When the tenors went through, I was like, oh, well, at least Magnus will win. That's what I thought as well. But then I was like, oh, don't get too cocky, Matt. Don't get too cocky. So I was cautiously optimistic, but I wasn't for sure. Because you never know. You never know. So, yes, that was the outcome. But ultimately then the tenors and Magnus battled it out in the final battle. And then only one would move on. Thankfully, Magnus won. And, I mean, it seems as the tenors knew he was going to win. They were kind of like, yeah, of course. Good job. But Magnus, did you watch his face? Like, I watched him. You could see how nervous he was. He just like, oh, my God. So I was so stoked for him. He seems like such an approachable, nice guy. If he wins Eurovision, I cannot wait to meet him because he seems like a really nice guy. But I was relieved for him. It was my favorite for sure in the semi, and it's really high up in my personal ranking. So it would be just a fun song, and it's a very Nordic Scandinavian sound that I would love to hear from Norway, and that's what I love about Kaino last year. Yes, it was very pop, averagey Scandinavian pop, but it had a lot of Nordic elements to it, and I really, really like that. And this song gives me a similar kind of vibe, and I'm a big fan of that. And looking at the competition that I've seen so far, I think this one is still high up in my personal ranking. We still have one more semi to wait, and so I would hold my final judgment. But here, this is where we're at. And then I also want to just address real fast, because we have those 4 semifinalists. There are already 5 songs directly qualified to the finals. And in each semifinal, one of the acts will perform their song, so people know it already. Today, it was Ulrike Brandstorp with the song Attention. And I've been saying in my last rounds of reviews that the semifinal songs have been superior to the finalists, and I didn't like most of the directly qualified songs, which bothers me that they got a free shot while the other ones have to battle it out. It just doesn't seem fair. Anyway, I listened to this one. Attention, to me, by far the best pre-qualified entry so far. It was a really good song. I'm going to listen to it again in the studio version. And I think what the song misses, I will say this again, live vocals. Because the backup track, the track, again, was almost too loud and it felt like a studio version. And I need the live feel of the song to make it feel more grand. That is what I was missing here. So I was like, oh, the song has all it takes to be really like, bring out the vocals. And I feel like her voices, just like I mentioned with the Mamas, were a little overshadowed by the backtrack. And that I would have to subtract a few points, but that probably will be easily fixed at Eurovision. That's why Too Late for Love was so good, because the Mamas and John Lundvik, their vocals together just really elevated the song. And this is what I am missing here. So, this is what I'm thinking. Natalie Finch is, by the way, this is your opportunity to ask questions about the Norwegian selection or make statements that you want to share. Natalie, and at ES United, Natalie Finch is saying, I think it's between Wild and Attention. I can see that. Wild is definitely high up there. Attention, I can see working really well. I'm not counting out Magnus, though. So if you add Magnus to that list, I can definitely will agree with your statement. I think these are the 3 songs that are going to battle it out, in my view. As of right now, there's still a semi to come. So, but this is where I'm at right now. Sounded like Lucy Jones, very West End. Steven, that is exactly right. It felt very West End. Felt very like that. I was thinking, like, what does it remind me of? And now that you said that, I couldn't put my finger on it. Now I can. And I like it. Do I think it's the best song I've ever heard? No, but this is a song that needs to be performed live. But not with the backtrack. The backtrack. Why the backtrack? It bothers me so much. Let's see here. Oh, Ayla said, I agree with Matt. Attention can be the new Sound of Silence. Right? Sorry, I get super excited when you say it. Because Sound of Silence was good in the studio version, right? But live, I was like, give her the win already. Second place, of course, so great. And this is what I'm thinking about Attention as well. I don't think it's living up to its expectations right now because we need more vocals. What do you think if One Last Time wins? Someone's asking. One Last Time won the second semifinal. A lot of people saw that as a surprise. It was my second place in that semi. I would be surprised. But hey, it would be a fun entry, but it wouldn't go far at Eurovision, I don't think. Not because it's a bad song, but the juries will smash it. They will destroy it. They will eat it alive. I could see some televotes coming, but I just don't see much jury support there. And you need both, the jury and televoters. And yes, it's very cliche. I have a soft spot for it. Should it win? Probably not. If it wins, I wouldn't be devastated. I would dance to it. I enjoy it. Lily said, I'm with you on your boat. Welcome to my boat. Still a contender. He's coming with fairy tale energy. Yes, it's a fairy tale energy. Just a little bit more folky. You know what I mean? And I do think they need to fix some of the staging, maybe. It wasn't bad by all means, but with, the backup singers and all that stuff at some point, it's on my radar. Absolutely on my radar. And out of all the songs, people often gravitate towards uplifting songs that just makes their heart feel like, oh, yes. And that's what the song does. Attention is really good, but it has room to improve live. Daydreamer, that's exactly what I said. You're echoing what I'm saying. I'm glad. I like these people here today. I like you all because you all make really valid points, and mostly because we agree. That doesn't happen a whole lot. But yes, there is a lot more potential. I don't think we have seen the song at its best. So let's wait and see what's going to happen in the finals. That's why I don't like in MGP or Melfest is these backup tracks, because it's really hard to judge the song sometimes because you have to fix it. Remember 2009, it's been over 10 years now, the pop opera song that La Voix from Sweden, it sounded so good with the backup tracks, because they had that big, grand, operatic backtrack. And then at Eurovision, they had to scale it back because you have dancers that had to be able to sing, and they were not really opera singers that they had. So it didn't sound quite as rich. And that is my fear when that kind of stuff happens. So let's move on to some other topics. Oh, someone's asking, why no guests at this live stream? This live stream almost did not happen today because I didn't know if I was going to make it. This is a very busy weekend for me, and I will not go into politics, but it's, there's going to be some elections next week, and I have to, I work as a volunteer, so I didn't know if I was going to be here in time, but I don't have to leave until tonight. It's only 1:10 local time right now in the afternoon. So that is why. So I didn't have time to get anyone on because I couldn't commit, if that makes any sense. So those were the 2 shows that happened today. There's also Lithuania and Moldova. Moldova doing auditions, Lithuania another round of shows. I was unable to watch them, but anyone who wants to share the results, let me know. We're going to talk about that as well real quick, but don't ask me my personal tastes or opinions because I have not listened to it. So that will happen later. Actually, I brought up the results for semifinal 1 here right now that took place today. We had 9 songs. And apparently 4 of them moved on. Kyra, Alligator, Ruta, Loop, We Came from the Sun, The Roop, On Fire, and Eiste Pilvelche, Unbreakable. So, I haven't listened to them yet. So now, on this one, unfortunately, I will only be able to do the finals properly because there's just too much going on. So, I'm going to bring up some other topics real quick that I haven't had before I go into some others. People ask about, I see in the chat as well, about reaction videos. And Australia and Latvia are probably next on my list that I'm going to do. I haven't done them yet because I'm trying to, do a lot of things at the same time. I don't do this full time because it doesn't make me any money. I wish. So those will be next in case you're wondering. And yes, I will go through as many, if probably all, national finals. Some of them I can't do the semis, just like with Lithuania. But there will be at least one video of them all. But those two will definitely follow next. So let's give you just a quick update on some topics here that I also wanted to address. And one of them is Romania. Now, Romania, as you know, haven't had the best of run at Eurovision as of late. They failed to qualify for 2 years in a row. And last year was somewhat, I don't know if controversial is the same right word, because the non-qualification wasn't controversial, but the national final was controversial, where the juries decided like 80% of the votes, and the televote had less than 20%, something like that. So a lot of people were not happy with the outcome because there was a huge discrepancy between what was going on. And one of the things was mentioned is Lower Britannia. Lower Britannia won the televote by a gazillion votes in Romania and still lost because she didn't get that many points from the juries. And since it would have been a 50-50 split, she probably would have won. Or it would have been, or potentially even Bella Santiago, who also did really well both in the televote and the jury. She finished second with both, but that wasn't enough because of the limited power of the televote. So therefore, it was ultimately, what's her name? Estapioni, who ended up winning the whole thing. And she didn't qualify. People were mad. I remember that. That was a lot of angry folks out there. So this time around, the producers decided, you know what? There have been a lot of countries that went with an internal selection and had success. So they decided, let's do that as well this year. So what's going to happen in Romania is that they are going to have an internal selection. The artist will be chosen internally. And then this particular artist will get to perform 5 songs. So this is actually for the first time ever that this is happening. That a jury will internally select a song. They look at different things, criteria like vocals, artistry, empathy, and expressiveness, whatever that means. So if you sing more like this, then you have a good shot of making it, I guess. So once they selected the entrant, then they will go to a specific songwriting camp. And the best song, some of the best Romanian composers, artists will create the songs. 5 will be chosen, and then they will be performed live by that artist, and will be decided by a 50% televote and 50% jury vote. So no longer this whole 80% juries or something like that. It's going to be a little different. And apparently the Global Records announced as the partner for the Eurovision selection process. And the TVR is stating that a number of factors such as impressiveness, figures, and the company has recorded in recent years regarding the presence of its song and artists in the radio and TV charts, the figures related to YouTube views, the number of countries where the tracks produced by Global Records, and the number of subscribers on social media accounts are listened to. That's the reason, okay? Interesting reasoning. Sometimes people overthink it, I guess. So we will have a national final coming our way on March 1st, but it'll be 1 act, 5 songs. And then they'll decide. So it's a semi-internal selection. The question is, who are they going to select? That is the drama. Obviously, the first thought is, well, since Lower Britannia would have won last year if it was a 50-50 system, maybe they should bring her back. Or maybe Bella Santiago, because she could have won as well. So these are the two names that mostly stood out to me. Whether or not they're going to do that, that remains to be seen. Someone is saying, actually, in the chat, Pio Pipeo. Did you see Esther's Instagram? Because it seems as she wants to come back. I've not seen that. If she comes back, great, but I don't think they're going to pick her right after the year she didn't qualify. But and I met her in Tel Aviv for a short moment, and I did an interview with her, and she is so sweet. And I remember saying, she is taking in this moment because this is one of her biggest moments, exposure she's ever had. She's trying to be very professional and just really enjoy the moment. She knows how big of a deal that is. And she was very humble and approachable, and she did a fantastic job on stage. The song was just not there. So that is where we're at. I would love to hear from you if some people have any ideas who you think should go to represent Romania. Who should the broadcaster pick? At ESC United in the chat, let me know. As far as I am concerned, and if I like this selection process, I don't know. We tried to do the same thing in Finland. Granted, they only had 3 songs, and it's not going too well there. But I get it. Finland is in Romania. And so give it a shot, I guess. At least they still have a national final. That is something. Yes, it's unfortunate that they don't get more acts to take part, but at least they're trying. And Romania's high up on my list as winners. I want them to win because I've never been to Romania. I almost went a couple of years ago, but logistically it didn't work out. So I would love to go. So, and I know there are a lot of Romanian fans out there who are very passionate, and they have waited for a long time to win this whole darn thing. Someone's saying Ali Ryan for Romania. Ali Ryan is German, actually. So we're going to talk about that in a moment as well. Someone is saying justice for Ovidio. Okay, he initially won the national final in 2016 and was set to represent Romania that year, but Romania did not pay their fees and their debt to Eurovision, to the EBU. And almost last minute, a week or so before rehearsals kicked off, Romania was disqualified and he was unable to take part. That sucked. That really sucked for him. And he said after that he was done with Eurovision. Can't say I blame him. It does suck. But I wouldn't mind him going back if they choose him internally, but I don't think they're going to. So those are a few good names to mention. Ali Ryan, Ovidio. But other than that, I have to wait and see what's going to happen. I am hopeful that this is going to work out for Romania. I mean, they always qualified, and then the last couple of years, it just didn't work out. But again, there's Ina for Romania, as someone is saying down. I remember Ina as well, so that would be a good choice as well. If you watch this video later on, let me know who you think should go to Rotterdam for Romania. And then we'll be back soon enough to do the actual review of the songs. Something else, just real quick, I will not talk about the allocation draw, which happened earlier this week, I think Monday, because I did a separate video for that. Make sure to check that out. I'll also not go a whole lot over Spain's Universo that has been released. In case you're wondering, Blas Canto released a song, Universo. It's the second song to be made available to the public. And I did a reaction video. Check it out. You get my thoughts on that one. Not to spoil it too much, I did say I really like it. I was surprised that it received so a good amount of negativity, and people, accused me as well of saying I'm just saying that to be nice. I'm like, no, I enjoyed it. Is it the best song I've ever heard? No, it's I like it. It was good, and there were lots of good parts. I like the high note. I like the strings in it, and I like the backup vocals. There's so many aspects of the song that I genuinely appreciate. But it is familiar. It is safe. It's a good song, though. It's I expected people to like it better, I guess. So, but that's how it goes. You never know. And, you just like what you like. That's how it goes. And some people are saying in the chat they love it as well. I think it's better than some people make it out to be. And the thing is, it also has a lot of staging potential. So, I mean, what is Spain looking for? A great result, of course, a win. But I think they're just hoping for a left side of the scoreboard kind of result. We shall see. I it sounds horrible when I say this right now, because I almost want, I don't want Spain to fail, because I'm very sad that we don't have a national final this year. I'm sad that they got rid of it. That shouldn't have happened. I wanted a national final. So the fact that they decided to do internally, I'm like, maybe if they flop, maybe they go back to a national final. But now the most important thing is for them to succeed at Eurovision. So I'm putting that aside. So, but more on that, you know, I'm not going to go into the details. Watch that video and then we'll go from there. Some people are saying, I have a bad feeling Spain will get on the lower left side of the scoreboard, which would be almost a success, right? If they got like a 12th or 13th place, it's an improvement from previous years. So I know Spain wants a top 10. Pachu is saying, of course. I mean, they had a bad decade, like the 2010s. They made it into the top 10 twice. Barely. In 2012, 10th place, and then 2014, 10th place, right? And then never again. So that's one of the least impressive runnings. Better than the UK, though, at least. I mean, that's not a, you know, a great thing. Germany had a few, has a roller coaster, right? A lot of good results, a lot of opposite of good results, and Italy owns the whole thing anyway. So, yeah, that's just how I feel. So, let's move on to the next topic. I saw some people shouting it out already in the chat, and that is Germany. So, I'm not sure if you watched my live stream from last week where I talked with Roy, and just a quick summary of that. I was very critical of the way the NDR is actually handling this thing. No news to me is bad news. So it's pretty clear, and we talked about it, that we know that the German channel, TV channel 1, they will broadcast the show on February the 27th, allegedly. Although they haven't made a whole lot of announcement. It has not been made clear if the show is a national selection or just a song presentation show. And it's really weird. It's very confusing. But it has been revealed now that on February the 10th, that we'll get more information. Thomas Schreiber, who is like the boss at the broadcaster, tweeted saying it's already February and he's counting down 9 more days. So we are supposed to expect updates on February the 10th. Initially, we were told it was going to be in late January, but clearly there is the pushback because maybe they just don't know what's going on. So, but again, the only news that we heard from a German website was that the German selection show would be on February the 27th. Now, the thing is that it's not supposed to be a live show. It's supposed to be like recorded 45 minutes prior, and then it's going to be a very short show, 45 minutes, and it's just really weird. It's just really weird how they want to do it. It just seems very, very messy to me. Like they're doing everything last minute, and makes me really, really nervous that they're not knowing what they're doing. And they did a bad thing last year. And I'm being very transparent, open about it by being very, very, I don't want to use the term corrupt. Because certainly it technically wasn't corrupt. Because, they didn't break any rules. But they certainly was so biased, I guess. They had all these acts go for the songwriting camps. And then last minute, they add this other song, an act that didn't have to go for all of this. And give them the best running order at the very end. And push this one really, really hard. And then it gets selected. And then you finish in almost last place, second to last. Woohoo. And it's their own fault for doing that, instead of letting the people decide. And the juries. Well, that kind of let them because, the televote also selected sisters, but there's another issue with that I'm not going to go into. Anyway, it was a huge mess. So instead of fixing the issues, they just scrap it all and potentially go with an internal selection. And we haven't done that since 2009 with Kiss Kiss Bang. And that, we all know, if you pay attention, didn't work out. We got, 19th place? I guess it's better than second to last. So, it is so weird. And I love what Lily Love said in the chat. I'm used to Germans being so organized and on top of things. Like, unorganized Germans make me nervous. Me too. That's like what we're known for. I mean, I'm an American now, but, I was born in Germany. So I still have a certain thing about that. I'm always punctual, always on time, always have all my ducks in a row. And So when this happens, I'm like, this screams disaster. Germans are also very particular when the train is late. They're like, you said you leave at 9:04. It's 9:06. What's wrong? So that makes me nervous. So this is where we're at. But if they end up going for an internal selection, I'm praying to the Eurovision gods that they're going to select actually Ellie Ryan, who should have won last year. Absolutely. She should have won last year. She was, these were the sisters that won, and Ellie Ryan won the fan vote, but not the televote or the jury vote. They were downranked there quite a bit. The show, by the way, is being hosted by Barbara Schöneberger. So she hosted Eurovision for quite a few years, and she also is the spokesperson usually at Eurovision for the past God knows how many years as well. I think since 2015, I want to say. So my hope is Ellie Ryan. She deserved it if she has a good song, of course. You never, you can pick a great singer and the song isn't right, but I think she is up and coming. If you follow me on Twitter, Matt ESC United, you saw me posting a video yesterday of her performing 99 Red Balloons in German, 99 Luftballons, performed by a YouTube channel with made all the versions more like retro, more like jazzy, and it's an amazing. She has so much stage presence. She looked amazing, sounded good. She would be a great choice if the song is right. If the song is right. So that is my hope. Anyone else shouting out names who should represent Germany at Eurovision if it's an internal selection at ESC United in the chat. Elodie says Ellie Ryan was so bad vocally. Oh no, except if she went to a vocal coach for her live performance. She wasn't that bad, I thought. But watch her clip on my when she sings 99 Red Balloons. It was really, really, really good. Who do you think does better, Eurovision better, Germany or UK? Well, we're just looking at the stats right now, right? At the numbers. And based on the numbers, Germany has a better track record. 2010s, we have a win, and we have 3 top 10 results, right? We got a first place, we got a fourth place, we got an 8th place, and a 10th place. So almost half the times we were in the top 10, 4 out of 10. Granted, we also had 2 last places and 2 second last places, right? So that's what I'm saying, like, ooh, oh, oh. So it's very bipolar with Germany. The UK, unfortunately, had 0 top 10 results. And I think that kind of stands for itself, including a last place in last year, right, in 2019. And then second to last in 2000. Oh, and there are 2 last places as well, 2010 and 2019. And then second to last in 2012. I gotta have to think. The best result was actually Blue in 2011, 11th place. So they certainly have a worse track record as of late. Now, if you look at from historically, like from the beginning of the contest, then the UK is far ahead. But I'm just looking at the more recent history, and we definitely had that. People are screaming Leena again. I don't think Leena would want to do it again. I don't know if that's her right choice. I think her moment at Eurovision has passed. And I mean has passed because she's a legend on Eurovision. She goes to all the national finals. She loves Eurovision. She embraces it. But I don't know if she would get anything out of it because she's done it twice and she won once. I'm always wary about that. But I would not push it away if she has the right song. But she's amazing. Helene Fischer, Adam James is saying. Helene Fischer is probably the most famous German artist as of right now. She has a very specific traditional Schlager sound in Germany that a lot of people love. She fills the biggest stadiums. I can say that it's my kind of music per se, and I don't know if this would work for the Eurovision fans. It's specifically like German, Dutch kind of, she's very popular in those areas, Austria. I don't know if the international crowds would get it as much. Big names often don't make a big difference. We learned that by now on Eurovision, right? And Nico Santos for sure, Xavier Naidoo without bullying him with some political correctness. Sebastian is saying, yes, Xavier Naidoo, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like Xavier Naidoo's music, and I don't like him at all. But I don't like when people force people. It's a touchy subject, I get that, but I wish it would have been a little less, I don't like bullying kind of thing. And what he said was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Those kind of situations are very difficult for me to comment on because I understand both sides a little bit there. But the fact that I don't like him or his music, I wasn't devastated. I didn't like that the broadcast that went with an internal selection anyway. So Tokyo Hotel. Are there still a thing, Jade Funky? Wasn't there like a popular like 12 years ago? I don't live in Germany anymore. I haven't lived there in almost 20 years, so my knowledge might be slightly outdated. Ben Zucker for Germany. Zucker. For Germany. So that would be, I know of him. I've seen the clips. I liked it. So some good options here as well. They may go with a brand new unknown name as well. You never know. But some good suggestions. Roman Loeb was thrown out there as well. But we have to wait. We'll probably get I'm sure, in few updates on the 10th in 9 days from now. Again, not happy that it's taking so long, but that's where it is. Anyway, I got to move on here real quick because I want to cover one more topic, and then we're going to move on to the the Q&A session. How does that sound? And the last thing I want to talk about is Russia. You know, that country that has had a pretty good track record at Eurovision. They finished in 3rd place last year with Scream. A lot of people were surprised, I thought. I liked the song, so I wasn't surprised. So we always have to wait a long time to get any updates from Russia. But you see this gentleman on my screen. That's Alexander Panayotov. And he is now being rumored to potentially represent Russia. Now, people are already thinking it may be accurate. I'm holding my breath here. It's not been confirmed. The problem is why it's been rumored is because it has not been denied either. So it all happened because comments made by a composer and producer by the name of Igor Krutoy. And he said that the singer had been chosen to represent Russia. And you're not supposed to share that. But since that statement came out, there have been some back and forth, people contradicting each other in the Russian media at least. And the singer's manager confirmed that Alexander will be representing Russia, and that more information will be released soon. So they're pushing that as well. But however, RIA said that management has already said they will not be commenting on the media reports. And Channel 1, who's in charge of picking the act, did not respond for a request for comment. So, no one has denied his participation. And that, of course, leaves so much room for interpretation and debate. Now, it could be deliberate that we're going to talk about him and then it's going to be someone else completely. But there's a good chance that it may end up being him. Now, I looked him up. There's not that much information of him out there in the American information area. He has been around for I think he's 35 years old, but he has been making music since 2001. He has released 2 albums, and he went on his first tour through the US in last year. Now, I haven't heard of him before, so it's new to me, so I would love to hear from you guys what you are thinking. Some people are saying he's amazing. Check out his blind audition at The Voice. Stephen, I haven't done that yet, so appreciate the suggestion. I will definitely check him out after this. I just haven't had a chance yet because, I had to listen to all of that stuff. So, once again, I want to be very clear here. This has not been confirmed. I am not saying that is what's going to happen. I'm just saying that this is what's being thrown out there. And these rumors often have been correct. Not all the time, it also depends on the country. So looking at the information that we have at hand, that the management said yes, that the broadcaster said they will not comment, makes me think it is true, but it could also be just a big promotional push by the management team. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Bring back Cerebro for Russia, Adam is saying. They represented the country in 2007 with song number 1. I got my bitches standing. The song was awesome. They finished in 3rd place. I'm sure, though, they're probably in their mid-30s by now, I would assume. So I'm not sure if that kind of music would work now. I would assume that music has evolved since then. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if the song is good. Lily Loves is saying, if he's going to ESC Alexander, that is, I can wait for him to give a bland song about peace or a dated Kyokurov song. Lily, I love that positivity that's coming out there. We'll see. Yeah, there's probably a good chance. Kyokurov, usually involved somewhere, somehow, with the Russian entries or with the Moldovan. So we have to wait and see. What about the rumor that Dima Bilan will have a comeback? The rumor, I haven't heard anything concrete about. It has been floating around for years. I don't know if he wants to come back. I don't know if it's a good idea to bring him back, especially with the juries now evolved. I don't think he would have won if he had juries in 2008. So I'm not his biggest fan, I must say, his music, his voice, so I'm not crazy about that idea. But that is just me. That is just me. So more information to follow on that. And stay tuned. I will let you know. So next up is the Q&A. So now it's your chance to answer my questions. I answer your questions. That's what it is. So at ESC United in the chat, make sure I'll see it. And I will do that for a few minutes. So but first, let me have a sip of water. Here you go. So here's a few questions coming in from Yehonatan Cohen. What do you think about what seems to be a common selection this year to first select the artist and then select the song in a televised national final? Israel, Romania, and maybe Greece will do so. I haven't heard about Greece doing that, so that's news to me, actually. Cool. It's a hit or miss with me. You know, at least they have a national final. I love national finals. I want the more the merrier. If they want to go down that route, I'm fine with it. At least they, you know, I think an act, like some of the more successful or established acts would feel more comfortable being internally selected than just have the song chosen, because they often want to compete against other acts. And it's even less about them, but it hurts their career sometimes when you have, I'm going to use the dramatic example, Adele perform in a national final and then loses to Henry from Boy Next Door. It's fair and square, but the tabloids would destroy her, and it would probably have a big hit on her career. So I understand why they wouldn't do that. So if that is a way to get them involved, I'm okay with it. Okay. When will you review the Danish songs for ESC? Sebastian is asking. It's on my never-ending list. I got Australia and Latvia next. I probably should put down Denmark after that. So if I can, probably next week. I have to record a lot of videos. So just hang on tight there. But it will happen. You have my word. Will internal selection take over Eurovision in the next 10 years? Latvian is asking. I don't know. I think we're going through lots of internal selections versus national finals, and then it goes back. Once a country really sucks at internally selecting a song, it goes back to national finals. Look at the United Kingdom, although now they may go back to the other way. So it's a come and go. Right now it seems like mostly the big five now getting rid of it and selecting internally, but if that fails and flops as well, they'll go back to a national final as well. So I wouldn't read too much into it. So I don't think it's going to be a trend. It might, but it's not going to be a permanent thing. Hi Matt, Thomas Labori is saying, do you have any information about France and when they will release the French entry? Thomas, I forgot. I think they mentioned late February, I want to say. Not in the next few weeks is my understanding. So we'll be closer to the deadline. And the deadline to submit a song, I think, is March 10th. So look out, late February, early March would be my thinking. I don't have the exact dates if they have announced it or not, but not soon, unless they change their mind. Next question. Lalagarado. When or what day will you start live streams in Rotterdam? So I will be there. We don't even know when rehearsals start, because every year it's different. Last year it was at Saturday, which really sucked because I had to fly out in there even earlier. It usually starts at Sunday. So assuming it starts on Sunday, I will do it then. But whatever day the rehearsals start, I will live stream. I will be in Rotterdam. I'm leaving the US, I want to say on a Wednesday. So on a Thursday. I forgot what day I'm leaving. But I'll be there like a day or two early, so maybe I'll do some live streams as well. I'll try to make it to Amsterdam in Eurovision in concert as well. but I haven't really decided because it's so expensive, and it's difficult to fly from LA to Amsterdam for just like a long weekend, so I have to wait and see. Lily Loves, thank you so much for the super chat. That always helps me to finance the very expensive endeavor that is Eurovision. I want to give you money every week, and I missed last week. Thank you. That's okay. I don't expect it, but it's very much appreciated. It goes right into the funds for ESC United and equipment as well. As far as questions go, when will you listen to Lithuania, to Baltos Varno song 2? Here's the thing, Lily. I have a hard time getting because I'm so far behind with Lithuania. It would be unfair for me to do one semi. So what I will do, I will do the final show on this one. So I will see if I can get it in, but definitely the finalist, then I will do it. But I'm just so far on the semifinals. There's only so much you can do. I do have a full-time job here as well, and it's a 9 to 5 kind of thing. So, yeah. But I will definitely do the final show. I think they said mid-February for the song release. For France, it has changed, I think. So that's why I'm saying I'm not 100% sure. What do you think about BBC's silence and rumors about the UK's entry? Oliver Tribe is asking. Makes me nervous. And what I said about Germany earlier makes me just as nervous about BBC, that they just not sure. Or they're trying to get a big name, trying to get another Engelbert Humperdinck or another Bonnie Tyler kind of thing. And we know that did not work. So I'm hoping that they are going to actually pick some on with the song. But even then, they have such a bad track record picking songs internally as well. So I'm hoping with the BBC, I have not much faith in them, but I'm hoping they're going to have, a broken clock is right twice a day moment, that they pick something and all of a sudden that one actually worked. Because I wish the UK nothing but the best. They went through so much politically right now. So this would be a fun distraction where everyone, with all the polarization and divisiveness that's going on in the country, something that everyone can be excited about. That would be kind of cool. So there, a message of unity. Let's see here. And a few more questions. Who do you go for at the Super Bowl, J-Lo or Shakira? Oh, I don't know. I don't watch the Super Bowl, so I wouldn't even know. But I'm a big. I enjoy me some Shakira, so that's my answer. But I don't know. Do people in Europe watch it? Like, why? I don't get it. Okay, Olivia MacArthur is saying, Ireland's new director revealed that Ireland has had an LGBT singer to a gay magazine thought that she does not necessarily mean that they will make it a feature of the act, but the song is chosen. Yes, I read about this whole that, the thing is going to be another Ireland 2018. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but it even is. I mean, that was the only qualification that Ireland had in 7 years. So take it and go with it. But yes, I try not to overthink it. They made a tiny announcement. We're reading too much into it. So let's wait and see. Let's see here. What do you expect from Ireland this year, considering the news and hints we've been given? Same thing, Megan, I just answered about Olivia, is I have no expectations because it's going to be random. It's going to be a random song just like the last few years, and we'll see if it's going to work or not. So I don't expect a big name. I don't expect a no name. I don't expect anything. There are certain countries who have like no expectations, not low expectations, not high expectations, just no. And that's Ireland in a nutshell. Excuse me. What do you expect? Oh, no, we had that one already. Blurk. What is your favorite song so far from all the selections? I haven't ranked them yet. I can maybe give you a favorite from each selection, but I haven't done like a total ranking. I know that Estonia's Beautiful Lie is high up there in my ranking for sure. Robin Bengtsson now is steadily climbing in on my list. Magnus from Norway, pretty high. So there are a few, but I haven't done a proper ranking, so I can't give you like a favorite one. And that's one of the things you do, like everyone does their top 40 Eurovision videos. I don't do those. I do a top 10. And even the top 10, I don't rank. I just tell you my 10 favorite songs in no particular order. after after Eurovision, I will do it, but not before because it's just so hard, and I don't want to do it. I don't care. Next question. When will you do React to Dance Melody Grand Prix, and do you already have thoughts of the competition already? So someone asked me that before, so I will write it down right now that Denmark is on my list. I have Australia, Latvia, and Denmark. So these were the next 3 countries that I will review. I haven't looked at it yet, so I cannot comment on the overall quality of these songs. Czechia announces... It always makes me good because, it's Czechia, but we also call it Czech Republic in Eurovision. Announces on Monday. Who do you think will win and who should? So Czech Republic, I always like to give a little bit more of a backstory. They do this online vote. They don't have an actual national final. They just released a bunch of songs. I think we're talking 7 songs, if I'm mistaken. And then you can vote online for your favorite. And the one with the most votes will win, basically. And I listen to them, watch my reaction videos out there as well. And if you have, then you probably know my answer. I do want probably Dark Water to win. I think this one was, out of all the ones, the most, that left the biggest impact on me. It's a good song, and it has a strong melody, and I think Olga, from what I'm hearing in the studio version, is a great singer. So that is my opinion. As far as like who is going to win, I know there's a big push for the band We All Poop, All the Blood. Toilet Humor at its best. But I want to say probably Olga is the one to beat. So I will say both. I want her to win. I think she will win. So, will you go to Rotterdam with the same team as in Tel Aviv? Someone's asking, so people get asking all the time what the team is. We don't even know how many people can go. We all have to wait what how many press passes we get. It won't be the same lineup. So I'm pretty sure Sean will be there. He's always a given. And then we have to wait and see. So I cannot, more comments on that later. Are you looking forward to Sanremo next week? I got 2011 and 27 winners in this year's contest. Yes, so Francisco Gambani, the Occidental Karma from 2017, the fan favorite, is back. I loved him. I like him. He was super nice, very approachable, down to earth, and I loved his song. And I love to see what he's going to come up with this time around. And 2011, yes, he is also returning, even though his song wasn't my cup of tea. I'm glad that he's back. So I'm looking forward to it tremendously. I always look forward to Sanremo. I can never really watch the entire show because I have so much work to do, but I try. I watch as much as possible, or at least when the show is over, I go back and listen to all of the songs. So that is how I do. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more questions. There's so many. I really appreciate, by the way, all these questions being asked. I could talk for hours here. Someone asked something about something, and now it went away. So I'm sorry. Thoughts on Greece and Stefania? Stefanos, it's not official yet, right? So she seems like a good choice to me. That's what I'm saying. If it's her, great. I just need to hear the song. So I'm trying to not to do. It seems like almost like everything but confirmed. But I don't know. But I like her. So I have good feelings about it. I'm trying to how to best phrase it. But certainly I am optimistic that she would do Greece proud. That would be my thinking, at least. Will we see the fire extinguisher again in Rotterdam? Dang it! Yes. Billy the fire extinguisher will return. The question was asked last week as well, and I promised myself that I'm going to have him ready for this live stream, and I forgot. He's somewhere in the pile over there, but I'll bring him back. We cannot bring the real one because, that one is probably, or at least hopefully, still in Lisbon. But, no, it was Lisbon. Was it Ukraine? Where was it? It was it was 2 years. I was Ukraine, in Kiev. But he'll be back, for sure. He is too famous. Oh, I meant to bring that AVB85. Thank you for bringing that up. Jan Olasan said there have been talks with Morocco over the past years. What do you think? And the maximum is 44 countries. I always thought it was 46. Two things. I always thought it was 46 as well, but maybe they changed that a few years ago. I don't know. I always thought it was 46 as well until he said it. In regards to Morocco, there have been more reports today, actually. The Moroccan broadcaster said that is not true. They're denying that there's been any talks. So either that was misrepresented on Jan Ola Sand's side, which I don't see that happening, or it was maybe communicated to someone else and they didn't talk. Maybe there's been the talk past each other. I don't know. So, but they're saying there have been no talks. So, I don't know. But as I pointed out in my video, unfortunately, with the Middle East and Northern African countries, for the most part, there is an issue that with Israel, like they cannot broadcast any content coming from Israel. And if you don't, then you're not eligible to enter the contest. So I don't know if they'll be back anytime soon anyway. So, do you think that Turkey will return to Eurovision? Ahmet is asking. Hi, Ahmet. Tough question. And I'm trying to make it so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds here. I do think that Turkey will return at some point to the contest once the political climate in your country has changed. I don't see it like right away within the next couple of years, but I can see it happening few years out. I want Turkey back like yesterday. But I'm being realistic as far as looking at the circumstances. And I would love to say, I'm like, soon, yes, it's going to happen. But I don't think it's going to. That's my thinking. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions, then we got to move on. Do you like the national final season so far, the overall year? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like it. The good thing is, why I like it is there hasn't been a horrible national selection yet. Yes, I didn't like Portugal's second semifinal at all, but they have fantastic songs on the first semi. So I feel as every country has a song that I'm excited about. Things may change if they select the wrong songs, because that's usually how it happens. But overall, I'm pretty happy. And I know probably, I haven't really checked that on social media. I'm sure people say, oh, this year is so weak already, which we hear every single year by the majority. So I'm not even listening to those voices. But overall, I thought it was good. It is good, I should say. And Thomas Labrie is saying, hi again, Matt. Well, hi there. Do you think being an ex-Eurovision participant who had good results at a contest is actually an advantage to get votes and win again in a national final if you try again? It really depends on the national final and the country, I should say. In some countries, yes. Absolutely. I will not say names. In some countries, that gives you a huge boost. In others, probably not so much. So it's a hit or miss on those. And so that's my answer. I wish I could give you a more elaborate one, but that's what I think. Have you heard Finland songs yet, Mika? No, Finland is... I don't have a life anymore. So now I have on my list Australia, Latvia, Denmark, and Finland. So these are the ones. Who else do I need to put on there? Guys, gals, I'm not going to do all of this. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, Finland I'll do as well. I will probably just maybe do a few rounds tonight, so I'm not going to go anywhere. Gosh, you guys are terrible. You're so mean. No, it's fine. I'm serious. Seriously, I will do it. In case you must do as Ola and retire, who will replace you here? Who? Okay, so if I retire, I will take Eurovision down with me. The entire thing. It'll be cancelled once I'm gone. Sorry, so I'm not allowed to retire. So if I ever mention I'm going to stop, you better stop me from doing so, because it'll be the end to our beloved contest. I don't know. I have no plans. Unless you want me to, then I'll disappear. Moldova, please, Steve. Steven! Moldova too? Oh, man. On my list. Okay. Australia, Latvia, Denmark, Finland, Moldova. Thanks a lot. I'll never leave this place again. Ukraine. Oh my God. Okay. Ukraine. Are all the songs out of Ukraine already? Australia, Latvia, Denmark, Finland, Moldova, Ukraine. God. I must be the chair of SESC. I'm working on that plastic surgery right now. At least maybe you should start with the Botox. If I could turn back time. Okay, Obiovica, Serbia. Serbia on the list. Thank you. Croatia. Croatia on the list. Sorry, I meant Croatia. Yes, thank you very much. So I have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 national finals to review. Okay. This is what happens when it's national finalist season. I feel for you, Shannon. Yes, it is. It's tough enough just to listen to the songs, but then actually get your camera ready and then do a reaction video. Because it's tough because, it happened to me. I want to be prepared because I remember it happened to me twice now. In 2018, I recorded the video for North Macedonia and I was like reacting, and then the sound wasn't on. I'm like, damn it. And what I'm not going to do is listen to it again, pretending I'm listening to it the first time, because I'm not an actor and it just wouldn't be right. So you have to be prepared, making sure that everything is in place. So it takes even longer, and then you go back and edit it and upload it and create a graphic and and then promote it on social media, and then you're going to go to bed. So yeah, it's exhausting, but I love it. Belarus. Hey, Belarus. I'm going to read this to you one last time, you fools. Australia, Latvia, Denmark, Finland, Moldova. I can't read my own handwriting here. I should be a doctor. Ukraine, Serbia, Croatia, Belarus, Slovenia. I hate you, I hate you. Hate will prevail. Okay. Turkey. Yeah, I'm going to listen to the Turkish national final songs. That would be fun. Oh, I'm safe from Croatia, Lily's saying. Okay, they were not being pre-released in Croatia. Goodbye, Croatia. Bye. I love you, Croatia, though, because I want to go really badly. So, but just for now. So, yes, this is what I'm going to do. So I better stop this live stream right now, because I gotta, do all of this right now. I didn't even have a piece of paper. I used a flippin' envelope from my insurance company. So that's how classy I am. So yes, I gotta go because you guys made me do a 2-hour live stream and ain't nobody got that time. Seriously though, thank you for watching. These were some really great questions. This was so much fun, and Poland is mentioned as well on the list. I'm adding Poland to the list. It's replacing Croatia. So I am moving on with my life. Watch out, probably the first video will be up probably tomorrow morning because, you guys are going to go to bed soon, but it's only afternoon here. So I will record and then we'll go from there. All right. So have a good day, have a good night, and have a good whatever. I'm so out of here. Bye.